We are working on the procurement module, and in the last session, purchasing profile options we completed, and after that we completed with the hazard class creation and the UI number, how to create UI numbers and how to assign hazard class and UI numbers to the item, and buyer assignment rules. So using this setup, we can assign requisition automatically to the buyers. We can assign it based on our rules and conditions. We can assign our requisitions automatically to the buyers, or we can also identify the procurement BU. Based on our conditions, we can identify the procurement BU. So this setup is used to configure global procurement also. Okay. And after that, descriptive flexi fields, you're able to create new fields on the requisition page, and in the purchase order page also, you're able to create in these two areas. I will show you. Completed marking your attendance team?
Yes, sir.
From the setup and maintenance, I'm navigating to procurement, and we are working on the purchasing foundation. And in that, descriptive flexi fields, requisition descriptive flexi fields. As I mentioned in the requisition, header level you can configure DFF, and the requisition line level you can configure, and distribution level also you can configure. In these three places, you can configure the DFF. The process of creating the DFF same as the supplier. Hope you remember in the supplier screen, we configured different types of DFF, that is character DFF, nothing but text DFF, and drop down list of value DFF also we created. It's the same process. If you see, it's the same process only. Okay. And define the DFF and then deploy it. After definition, deploy it, and then log out and log in again. The new DFF that you have created, please log out and log in again. Okay. So this is for the requisition DFF. And similarly, we can also create DFFs for the PO also. Purchasing descriptive flexi fields. So in the PO, if you click on the search, there are a lot of, in the approved supplier list screen, see here, this is approved supplier list screen. There you can configure DFF. And this is procurement agent. We already completed with the procurement agent setup, right? In the procurement agent setup screen also, we can configure the DFF. So this is procurement agent screen where you can configure the DFF. Okay. And this is purchase order screen, purchase order header level, line level, purchase order line level. And this is line types. Hope you remember, we have seen the line types also. In that screen also, you can configure the DFF. Okay. There are a lot of places are there in the PO where you can configure the additional fields. Okay. The process is same as how we configured for the supplier. It's the same process. Next, approved supplier list. We'll discuss this topic later, not now. We'll discuss this topic later. Now, next important topic is receiving parameters. So after the PO creation, you communicate the PO to the supplier, and supplier will send you the stock, and you have to receive that stock into the system. Physically, you'll receive, and in the system also you have to receive. So for that, you have to configure the controls. The receiving controls, nothing but receiving parameters. So receiving, we perform at the inventory org level. Stock receiving, we perform at the inventory org level. So I'm selecting the inventory organization here, and I'm configuring the controls, receiving controls for this organization. It is having three sections. One is the general section, and another one is the receipt number section, and third section is RMA section. So this explanation, this is an important screen. Like this, there are a couple of important screens are there. Couple of other important screens are there. Okay. As of now, what are the important screens that we have come across so far? It could be inventory or it could be procurement. What are the important screens we have come across as of now? Ordination parameters is also an important screen. And then sub-inventory. Sub-inventory screen is also important because in the sub-inventory screen also a lot of fields are there, lot of checkboxes, lot of drop downs, lot of controls are there in the sub-inventory screen. Yeah, please go ahead. Please go ahead. After that,
configure requisition business function.
requisition options. Requisition options is important screen, and then purchasing options is important screen, and what else? Okay, now receiving options, nothing but receiving parameters is also an important screen, because these screens are having a lot of options to control the functionality. So we should know what are the sections and what are the controls and functionalities on in all these three screens. Okay, I'm working on giving the notes for all these important screens, and in the learning portal under the block section. So for this screen, I have already given the documentation for the screen, receiving parameters. So if you go to the if you go to the block section, and under the blocks, if you go to the Fusion SCM, if you go to the Fusion SCM, under that, receiving parameters. Yeah, you see here, receiving parameters. Okay, so it has three sections. I'm explaining about the first section. Before I'm explaining the first section, I'm giving introduction to the internal receiving and external receiving. External receiving is nothing but, in case if you're receiving the stock outside, in case if you're receiving the stock from the outside, that is external receiving. Internal receiving is nothing but, some of your internal organization has transferred and you are receiving it. That is internal receiving. Okay. So this, under this section, the first section is general section. In the general section, ship to action, the first one. General section, ship to action. First, we will talk about the left-hand side. After that, we'll discuss about right-hand side. After that, the second section and third section. Okay. The first section is general section. Under that, ship to exception. Okay. The screen, whatever the options that you'll see, it's almost same in EBS also. When you compare the screen with EBS, almost same. Only 5 checkboxes are extra here. 5 checkboxes, 5 functionalities are extra here. So this ship to exception action is also there in EBS. So till here, no change. Till here, no change. It's there in EBS also. Can anybody explain me the ship to exception option? What is the ship to exception options? Who are already working on Oracle EBS currently? Till here, it's same. No change when you compare with the EBS. I think at least 50% of the people are working on Oracle EBS, right?
So while shipping the product to our customer, what are the exception?
Ganesh, you're not eligible, Ganesh. So recently attended one batch, right, Ganesh? Ship to exception. Anyone who is working on Oracle EBS currently? No idea? So normally, in the purchase order, you'll mention the delivery location, right? Yes or no? In the purchase order, you will mention the delivery location or not.
Yes.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
Generally, you receive to the same location. When you are receiving, you receive
Yes.
to the same location.
Yes.
Okay. So this control is related to that. If you select reject, nothing but when you're receiving to a different location, it will throw error. If it is warning, it will give you a warning message. If you're receiving to same location, no problem. If you're receiving to a different location, it will throw a warning message. You can ignore the warning, you can continue with the transaction. None means you're not controlling the functionality. I'm nothing but you can receive to any location. Clear? Clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. ASN control action. Okay. That is what explained here. Okay. So purchase order shipped to location or delivered location, receiving location could be different, or it could be same. Decided below 3 options. Can be different. Reject means cannot be different. Allowed with a warning message. 3 options. Okay. So please go through this documentation later. And like this, for the remaining important screens, I'm preparing the documentation. Almost 80% I'm done, but for remaining 20%, I'm taking a lot of time. It's pending from my side, and somehow I should complete that remaining percent, and I have to upload into the portal. I'll do that. Next option is ASN. First of all, what is meant by ASN? ASN is nothing but advance shipment notice. ASN abbreviation is advance shipment notice. The best example is in case of e-commerce sites. If you order something, before the product delivered to you, you will receive an email alert and SMS alert from the company, from the Amazon or Flipkart, saying that, hey, tomorrow so-and-so product is delivered by so-and-so carrier or courier company. You'll receive an SMS alert or email alert. Okay. What is the purpose of that intimation? So if you get intimated, you'll be prepared to receive the product. You'll be available in the home. Okay. Or if you ordered for a big item, you'll empty your warehouse to receive the product. Okay. Or else you'll ask your labor to unload the product to be available at that time. So a lot of factors are there. Okay. So our supplier can send us the ASN. Or supplier can send us the ASN, nothing but pre-intimation before the product get delivered to us. And here 3 options are there. So these 3 options also related to receiving only. If a PO is having a ASN number, suppose for a PO, if it is having an ASN number, nothing but if your supplier has sent you the ASN number, if you select reject means always you have to receive with the ASN number only. If you try to receive with the PO number, it will not allow. Receiving should happen with the ASN number only in case of reject. In case of none means you can receive with the PO number or you can receive with the ASN number. Anything is okay. Warning means if you try to receive with the PO number, you will get a warning message saying that, hey, this PO is having an ASN. You still want to continue with the PO number receiving or not? You can ignore and you can continue. Clear?
Yes.
1 second.
Yes, sir.
One second. Yeah. And this is, the name itself, early receipt, late receipt. So in the PO, you'll mention the delivery date. Your expected delivery date, you'll mention in the PO. If the supplier is sending early, how much early you can accept? 5 days early, I'm okay. How much late you can accept? Only 1 day late allowed. So if your receipt more than 1 day late, and earlier than 5 days, I wanted to reject. Within these controls, you're happy, but if your receipt is earlier than 5 days and later than 1 day, then reject that receipt. Warning means allow with a warning message. Over receipt tolerance. So more than the order quantity, 5% I am allowing. 5% I am allowing more than the order quantity. Nothing but if you order 100, you can receive 105. 5% I am allowing. If it is more than 5%, reject that receipt. Warning means give a warning message and allow the receipt. Understood? So far good?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You want me to repeat anything? So far good?
Yes, sir.
Now receipt routing method, it's an important entry question. Receipt routing method. There are three receipt methods are there. One is direct delivery, standard, and inspection. So direct delivery is I've given a table over here for the receipt routing methods: direct, standard, and inspection. Okay. So direct is directly you are delivering to the sub inventory. Directly you are delivering to the sub inventory. Okay. So this I call it as a one-step process also. So if you are using direct method for a PO, sorry, team. Okay, so in case of when for your PO, if you use the direct method, after you receive, directly it is delivered to your sub inventory. Stock is increased immediately after you perform receipt. But in case of standard method, two-step process, it's called as a two-step process. First, you receive the product or stock into your location. You are receiving into your premises. This is step number 1. After receiving, you are delivering to the sub inventory. This is step number 2. That's why this is called as a two-step process. Receiving into premises, later delivering to the sub inventory. After completion of the step number 2, your on hand get increased. Okay, this is standard. And in case of inspection, first we are receiving to your premises, and then later we are performing the inspection. The accepted stock we deliver to the sub inventory. This is called as three-step process. Why it is called a three-step process? It has 3 steps. We need to perform 3 steps. First receiving to premises, later performing the inspection, after that delivering to the sub inventory. It's a 3-step process. Okay. For your PO, whatever you are selecting here. Suppose if I select direct delivery, for every PO, direct delivery is defaulted. But at the PO level, you can change from direct delivery to standard or inspection. You can change. Okay. But what is your default receipt routing method? Either direct delivery or standard or inspection. Okay. Next, what about for the inspection? Are you using the quality module? Quality module is a separate module. It's a separate module. Or are you using the quality module for the inspection? For the inspection, are you using the quality module? If it is yes, enable this checkbox. If you are not using the quality module, then disable it. Allow substitute receipt. So this is simple. You ordered something and that product is not available with the supplier, and supplier would like to compensate with a similar product. It's called as a substitute receipt. The best example is if you go to any medical shop, if the same company is not available, and they will suggest you some other company with the same combination, right? That means whatever you're ordered and what you are receiving is different. Ordered product and received product is different. That's called as a substitute receipt. And unordered receipts. Nothing but what is the process? The process is, first of all, you have to create a PO. That PO, it goes to the approval, your approval, your manager approval, your manager approval. It goes to a lot of approvals. Okay. After that, after the PO got approved by everybody, then only you can communicate the PO to the supplier. And after communication, you will receive the stock from the supplier. This is the standard process. But you don't have a time. You don't have a time for the PO creation, or you don't have time for the PO to be approved by everybody. You don't have a time. In that case, you can directly call the supplier and you can ask the product to be delivered. Okay. And you receive the product and later create the PO. Receive the product without the PO, you receive the product. That's why this is called as a unordered receipt. We are receiving the product. After that, we are creating the PO, and that PO and this receipt we are matching. It's called as a unordered receipt functionality. Clear so far?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Ace and control
Yes.
action, early receipt, late receipt, over receipt, receipt routing methods. Okay. Quality checkbox, substitute receipt, and then unordered receipt. Okay. If I've given a check mark, means it's a checkbox, means it's a, that field is a checkbox. Left hand side good.
Yes.
Next, let's talk about the right hand side. In the right hand side, blind receiving. So for normal receipt, all these controls are in place. For normal receipt, that sheet should not be 1 day delay. The receipt should not be earlier than 5 days, or the receipt should be within 5% over receipt only. It has all these controls. But there are some exceptional cases are there. You wanted to ignore these controls. So in this case, we can use a blind receiving. When you're using the blind receiving, it's exceptional receiving. Okay, it's not a normal receipt. So that kind of functionality you want to allow in the application or not? I would like to allow. For normal receipt, let these controls are in place. But for blind receiving, yes, I want an exception. So this is exceptional receiving. Okay. Next, print receipt traveler checkbox. Print receipt traveler checkbox. If you enable this checkbox, in case of inspection, let us take example of inspection. First, you are receiving to some location. Later, you are performing the inspection. After performing the inspection, the stock can be delivered to multiple sub-inventories. Not only one sub-inventory, it can be delivered to multiple sub-inventories. Okay. And if this checkbox is enabled, automatically system is going to print the receipt traveler information. Nothing but whatever the receipt that you perform, it will travel to which locations and it travel to which sub-inventories. It will give that report automatically if the checkbox is enabled. Automatically report is submitted, and if you open that report output, that report it will display that receipt, when you received it, to which location you received it, and when you completed the inspection, and to which sub-inventories you delivered, on which date you delivered, and who delivered it. So all that information is available in the receipt traveler report. And if you enable this checkbox, after performing the receipt, this report is automatically generated. Okay. So normally after the PO is completely received, what is the status of the PO? You create a PO and you completely received the PO.
Close it for receiver.
Close it for this one.
Okay. Give me a second. Okay, so suppose example here, how much over receipt we are allowing? 5%, right? We are allowing 5% right here.
Yes.
Let us take you ordered 100 and you received 100. What is the status of the PO? Closed. But you are allowing 5%. That means you can receive extra 5 quantity, right? You can receive extra 5 quantity, 5% of your ordered quantity. So if you want to receive extra quantity, then you have to receive against closed purchase order, right? Because you already received the order quantity, you want to receive extra. That extra means you have to receive against the closed purchase order, right? Include closed purchase order for receipt. So you are allowing the receipt against the closed purchase order. Clear?
So means this over receipt tolerance which we are mentioning 5. So that also included by checking this box, like more than 5, that 5% is also included, or
So simply you are allowed to receive extra 5%, sir, on the closed PO. Okay.
okay.
Suppose you ordered 100, you received 100. What is the status of the PO? Closed, right?
Yes, yes.
Closed. But you
Yes.
have an option to receive extra also.
Okay.
If you want to receive extra also, okay. If you enable this checkbox, you will receive extra.
Yes. Okay.
And sir, if we doesn't enable this checkbox, then for this remaining 5, it will create new PO order, right?
So here, if you don't enable this checkbox, I understood your concern. You are directly receiving odd is 100, okay, and you are directly receiving 105. This is one scenario. Okay, so this scenario is applicable to only this field. Okay. Second scenario, you ordered 100 and you just received 100. Now the status is closed. Status is closed. Again, you want to perform the receipt. Again, you want to perform the receipt on the same PO. Okay. Then, if this checkbox is allowed, then only the closed PO it will display in the receiving screen. When you are trying to receive the closed PO, it will display in the receiving screen, and you are allowed to receive the remaining 5 quantity. Understood? If the checkbox is enabled in the receiving screen, you are able to pull out the closed PO.
Okay, sir.
Not clear?
Clear, sir.
Yes.
Clear, sir.
If you disable this checkbox, let us assume you disable this checkbox. You disable this checkbox. So directly you are receiving 105. Your order quantity is 100, and in the receiving screen, if you pull this PO, let us take PO number 123. You pull this PO in the receiving screen, it will display or not in the drop down. In the receiving screen, it will display or not?
Yes.
It will display. And you are directly receiving 105, no problem here. and no need of this checkbox. But here, you pull the PO and then you received only 100. And after that PO got closed. Again, you want to pull that PO from the receiving screen, from the drop down. You want to pull the PO in the receiving screen from the drop down. Then this checkbox should be enabled. Understood?
Yes.
Still
Yes.
not clear? Let me know. I'll repeat. In a different way, I'll give you the explanation. Good, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, in the PO, whatever the routing method you're selecting here, that is defaulted. If you selected direct delivery, it is defaulted to the PO. But during the receiving time, I wanted to edit that. I would like to override. I would like to change. Whatever you're entering here, that is defaulted in the PO. The same is defaulted to the receiving also. Receiving also, you'll see direct delivery only because PO is direct. Whatever you're selecting here, that is defaulted to the PO. The same get defaulted to the receipt. But during the receiving time, I would like to change it to, instead of direct delivery, I would like to change it to inspection, or I would like to change it to the standard delivery. Allow routing override during the receiving stream. Okay. And print shipping documents. So what are the shipping documents? The shipping documents, if you type in the web also, if you search in the web also, see here, commercial invoice, bill of lading, waybill number, exports, export and import license, okay, packing list, insurance certificate, inspection certificate. All these are the shipping documents. Okay, do you want to print these shipping documents for return to supplier? Nothing but you receive the stock from the supplier and you found some damage and you want to return that quantity to the supplier. You found damage and you want to return. Nothing but you are returning the stock to the supplier. So print shipping documents for return to the supplier. So this is for the dropship. This is for the RMA. These two transactions we see in the order management. So do you want to print shipping documents for dropship orders? Do you want to print shipping documents for RMA transactions? Okay, so these two checkboxes are related to order management. This is for the purchasing only. I will show you the stock return to the supplier in the purchasing. But if the checkbox is enabled, system will try to print these documents. So where we configure these documents? These documents we configure in an inventory setup. That setup I'll explain you as part of the order management module. That setup I'll explain you as part of the order management module. Okay. Allow defaulting of lot and serial numbers from ASN. Hope you remember here, you can perform receiving, again is the ASN number. You can perform the receiving, again is the ASN number. Okay. So in the ASN, whatever the lot numbers and whatever the serial numbers are there, do you want the same to be defaulted during the receiving? Allow defaulting of lot numbers, serial numbers from the ASN screen or from the ASN. Do you want to default? Yes. If there is a lot number mentioned in the ASN, if there is a serial number mentioned in the ASN, please default. Clear? General section is clear. Any checkbox, any field you want me to repeat?
Krishna, this print receipt traveler report only print in case of inspection
No,
or in case of standard.
It will print for every receipt if you enable it. But inspection, I have taken an example for the explanation.
Okay. The last checkbox, allow defaulting of lots and serial number for ASN. This is to identify whether we received the stock into the stock from the same lot in the serial or Is this lot and serial related to our sub inventory?
No, this is who is sending you the ASN? Who is sending you the ASN?
Oh, okay.
ASN is sent by the supplier, right?
Yes.
Okay, so in the ASN, supplier is going to mention lot numbers and serial numbers, means that's a supplier lot number. That's a
Okay.
supplier serial number.
Okay.
Okay. So from the ASN, we wanted to default the supplier provided lot numbers and serial numbers into our receiving screen. And then in our receiving screen, we can enter our lot number and our serial numbers. So basically, we are capturing the supplier lot and supplier serial numbers.
Okay.
Our serial number could be different and supplier serial number could be different, right?
Yes, Krishna.
Any more questions? Now, next section is receipt number. Okay. So I want my first receipt to be starts with 1. Your first receipt number is 1, 2, 3 like that. And then this is related to order management team, RMA. This is nothing but customer returns. So here there are 2 types of, one is returning to your supplier. You ordered and you received, you found damage, you are returning to your supplier. That is return to supplier. And RMA is nothing but your customer is returning to you. You sold something to your customer and your customer is returning the product to you. This is in case of your sales. This is sales return. This is sales return. RMA stands for return material authentication. Okay. In case of sales returns by your customer, what about the, if your customer is returning the product to you, you have to receive the product into your company, right? You have to perform receiving. So this is RMA receipt. For RMA receipt, you want to perform inspection or you want to perform direct delivery. I would like to perform inspection. Why I want to perform inspection? Because my customer reported damage. And after receiving, I would like to verify whether the product is really damaged or not. So this control is nothing but I sent some serial number and some lot number to my customer, some serial number and some lot number to my customer. The customer is sending you the same serial number, returning the same serial number, returning the same lot number. The customer is returning the same lot number, same serial number product. The customer is returning or not. Restricted means we need to receive the restricted means we need to receive the same lot that is shipped to the customer, same serial number that is shipped to the customer. Clear?
Yes.
Okay. So the same, in case if your client is having 10 inventory organizations, you have to repeat this configuration for all the 10 receiving organizations. Any questions in the screen, please?
Krishna, can you go to the last option? Here, last option, RMA. Here we are verifying whether our customer is returned the item with the same serial and lot, right?
Yes.
In case if customer sent the item with a different serial,
You cannot able to receive that.
not able to receive. That means it
Yes,
will be returned back to the customer.
It will not allow you to perform the transaction in the application.
Okay, transaction. Okay.
So if you select restricted with warning, you are allowed with a warning message.
Okay.
Krishna, this is by inventory organization, right? But is it possible to control it by item? Like, some expensive raw materials like leather, I may want to inspect before receiving, but any accessories or something else for that product, I may not want inspection to be performed.
So this receipt routing method, it will select at the item level also.
Okay.
So at the item, for one item, you can select direct delivery. For another item, you can select inspection. For under
Okay.
item, you can select standard. It's up to you. Okay.
Okay,
Not only
thanks.
select, not only selecting here, item level also you can select.
Okay,
And the preference, okay, the preference is item level only, first preference.
got it. Thank you.
From the item level, it is defaulted to the PO. If the item level it is empty, then from here it is defaulted.
Okay,
Not only from here, I think it's from the supplier level, I believe. There are some preferences are there. Okay, that preferences I am explaining in the next coming classes.
sure, sure.
Since you asked me the question, let me see. For the receipt routing method, the first preference is item, that I'm sure. But the second preference is, I think, item level, I believe. Here I have mentioned. Okay, you can set up receipt routing methods at the item level, and then supplier side level, and third is receiving parameter.
Excellent.
Okay. So
Yeah.
here, so for the item level, whatever you are entering at the item level, if you enter direct delivery or standard or inspection, that is defaulted to the PO. If the item level is empty, then it look for the supplier site level. Supplier site level, what you selected, that is defaulted to the PO. If the supplier site level is empty, then it will take from the receiving parameters. Okay.
Okay,
So this is defaulting preferences. This I'll cover in the coming class.
sure. Thank you.
If I cover everything in one go, it's too much explanation at the same time. You know, it's heavy for some people.
Correct, correct. Sorry about that. Just
No
a
problem.
thought.
No
Yeah.
problem. Okay. Anything you want me to repeat here in the screen? Okay. Now, profile options. This profile options are, earlier I covered which profile options? PO. Now this is receiving. That means these profile options are going to control the receiving functionality. Procurement, receiving, switch to all tasks, and receiving profile options. Here it is. First, I will explain you the important and simplest profile options. And also I'll explain these profile options in a group also. So first we will discuss about very, very important profile option. After you perform the receiving, what is the expectation? The expectation is your on hand. After receiving the stock, what should happen to your on hand? Your on hand should increase, right?
Yes.
You have performed receiving successfully, but on hand is not increased. What is the reason? After you perform the receiving, the system is going to call a program. The system is going to call a program called main is receiving transaction is a program name that will call automatically. That will call automatically if you select in case of online and immediate, that program is automatically called. After completion of that program, your on hand is increased. Your on hand is increased after completion of that program. If that program is failed, your on hand will not increase. So in case of online and in case of immediate, in both these cases, the program is automatically called. The program is automatically called. Sir, what is the difference between online and immediate? The difference is In case of online, if there are any receiving controls and receiving errors are there, that will be displayed in the screen itself. That will be if any controls are in place, if any errors are in place, that will be displayed in the page itself. But in case of immediate, you are allowed to perform the transaction, you are allowed to complete the transaction, but the errors are stored in which table? In the backend table. In the interface table, the errors are displayed. In these two cases, the program is automatically called, but in the first case, if any errors are there, it will display in the screen itself. Without fixing that error, you are not allowed to perform the transaction. But in the case of immediate, if any errors are there, you can still proceed with the transaction, but the errors are captured in this table. Okay. But in these two cases, there is one problem. Okay. The problem is if one person is receiving, and I'm receiving, I perform receipt now, then program is called once. Automatically the program is called once. You are also performing the receiving at the same time. The program is called how many times?
2 times.
2 times. So somebody also performing the receiving at the same time. The program is called how many times?
3 times.
2 times.
If 100 receivers
3
are
times.
performing, the receiving at the same time, then how many times the program is called?
100
100
times.
times.
100 times in the same parallelly, right? In the same
Yes.
time, it will run 100 times. It will get into issues, performance issues. So if there are a lot of receivers are there, and if you think the receivers can perform the receiving parallelly, then better to go with the batch method. In case of batch method, the program is not called automatically. It will not called automatically. You can schedule the program. You can schedule the program to run for every 30 minutes, or you can schedule the program to run for every half an hour. Nothing but I'm sorry. For any you can schedule the program to run for every 1 hour. So in that 1 hour, whatever the receipts are happened, all those receipts are gonna process at a time. Okay, clear with the batch method? In case of batch method, the program is called automatically?
No.
No. You have to schedule the program. You have to schedule the program to run for, it's up to your wish, for every 10 minutes or 15 minutes or 16 minutes. Suppose I perform receipt now. Okay, after completion of this program only, I can see my on hand in the application. Clear with these 3 methods? Online, immediate, batch method, clear?
Yes.
Sir, then generally in practical scenario, the user will wait for 30 minutes to get updates on the inventory, right?
Yes.
Ideally, to
Yeah.
check the inventory.
If it is batch method,
Yeah,
then
obviously
you
for
need,
batch method.
yeah, if it is batch method. You can go with the online method also if you think, a lot of receivers are not there. Okay. Then
Okay.
you go with the online also. If you think receivers are there and there could be a parallel receipt happens by many receivers. If you think the program is going to launch many times, then better to go with the batch method. Yes, of course, you need to wait till the schedule. Till the schedule is nothing but in case if you schedule for every 1 hour, you need to wait for that 1 hour. After completion of the program, the on hand is increased.
Perfect. Okay.
That's an important profile option out of all these. That's very, very important. Receiving TP mode. Okay. TP is nothing but transaction, receiving transaction processor. RCV underscore TP is nothing but receiving transaction processor. Next, this one, if you see SSP here, in your profile option, if you see SSP, these profile options are related to SSP module. SSP module means
Self-service procurement.
self-service procurement. Normally, the receiving can be performed from the inventory. You can perform receiving from the inventory. Okay. And you can also perform receiving from the SSP module also, self-service procurement module also. So from the inventory, by default, you are allowed to perform the blind receiving from the inventory. From the SSP also, you would like to allow blind receiving functionality. Yes. By default, from the inventory, you can perform blind receiving. But from the SSP also, you would like to allow blind receiving. I'm selecting yes. Okay. And here, this profile option is nothing but, I think you know about inventory PO and expense PO, right? Inventory PO and expense PO. I think the best example is you have created purchase order to me, right? You have created purchase order to me, right? Hello,
Yes, sir.
I am your supplier, right? I am your
Yes.
supplier or not?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
you have
yes.
placed a purchase order to me.
Yes.
Yes.
So you have placed a purchase order. That purchase order is expense purchase order or inventory purchase order?
Expense purchase order.
It's expense.
Expense.
It's expense purchase order. So from the SSP, by default, expense POs are received, but inventory POs you want to receive or not from the SSP. By default, expense POs are received. What about inventory POs? You want to receive? Select yes. Next is so this is there is a functionality called I think most of you are not aware of this functionality. There is a functionality called okay. So to explain these two profile options, first of all, you should know this functionality. Confirm receipt functionality. You should know about this functionality. Okay. So basically, this is a notification. It's a notification which is sent to the request, I believe. Okay. And these notifications are sent to the requester or buyer. Okay, so this is an email notification, which is sent to the requester or the buyer. So to respond to these notifications, so see there, if you want to, you'll receive an email notification. If you wanted to respond to that notification, you have to log into Oracle applications, and then and you have to confirm whether you received the product fully or not received or partially received or partially received. So this is the response you can report. So this is in case of these two profile options. Enable notification through SSP for transfer order shipment. This is enable notifications through SSP if the need by date has passed for the order. So if you look at this profile option, we want that notification to be sent if the need by date has passed for that order. Nothing but you have to receive today, but you have not received it. You have not received it. So the application is sending a notification to the requester or buyer and taking their confirmation. Enable notification through self-service receiving if the need by date has passed for the order. Clear? First of all, you understood this confirm receipt notification functionality. Nothing but you are confirming whether you have received the product or not. You are confirming in that notification. You understood this functionality? Please respond. Don't be quiet. I'm asking many times. I don't have energy, sir. Please respond.
Sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You understood this notification first of all?
Yes.
Basically, you are confirming. Oracle application is sending a notification to you. You are confirming whether the product is received or not, or partially received or not received. You are confirming whether this notification you wanted to trigger from the SSP functionality or not, from the SSP model or not. That too for which type of orders? Past due orders. Okay. If S is selected, a notification is sent to the requester or buyer. So this is also SSP related profile option. Specify when you are performing the receiving from SSP, you are able to see the item price or not. See here. So these SSP receiving profile options are applicable to the SSP receiving only. When you are performing the receiving from SSP, whether you are okay to display the unit price of the item or not, the price of the item or not. If you select yes, the item price is displayed in the SSP screen. Clear? Okay.
Okay.
Next is ERS. This ERS stands for electronic receipt settlement. ERS stands for electronic, or you can call it as extended receipt settlement also. So this is nothing but, after the PO got created, we can generate invoice manually, or we can configure this ERS functionality also. This ERS functionality will automatically create invoice. The invoice can be created manually for the PO, or invoice can be created automatically for the PO. Okay. In case if the invoice automatically created from the PO, then what should be the prefix for the invoice number? Prefix for the invoice number. Specify the prefix for the extended receipt settlement generated invoices. Nothing but if the PO Nothing but if the invoice is automatically created from the PO. So for such type of invoices, the prefix is ERS. Clear?
Yes.
So this feature is a new feature recently launched in the last year. I'm not sure about this profile option. Okay, it's recently launched. Okay, let me repeat the explanation here. So TP mode, receiving transaction processor. So when the program you want to call automatically for every receipt, or you want to schedule the program. You want to schedule the program. You can schedule the program from which place? From the scheduled process. What is the program name? Main is receiving transaction processor. Main is receiving transaction processor is the program name. You can pull out that program from the from the scheduled process, and you can schedule it for 30 minutes or 15 minutes. It's up to you. You can schedule it. Okay. After that, we are discussing about the blind receiving. You would like to allow blind receiving from the SSP, and you would like to allow the inventory receipt, inventory POs receiving from the SSP or not. Inventory POs. Expense POs by default received from the SSP. But what about inventory POs? Inventory POs also I would like to allow from receiving from the SSP. So this is nothing but notifications. So this is nothing but notifications. What kind of notifications? Confirm receipt functionality notifications. So this notification is triggered when your order is when your order, due date of the order is completed. Nothing but it crossed the due date. Then system is going to send a notification to take your confirmation whether product is received or not. And after that, from the SSP screen, item price is displayed or not. Item price. Okay. And ERS, in case of automatically generated invoices from the PO, what should be the prefix for those invoices numbers? So that's it. That's fine. That's fine with the profile options. Any questions, please? Good. Any questions from the previous class? And if you want, you can enable explore this functionality. You know, this is available in EBS also. It's also available in Fusion. Confirm receipt functionality. Any questions from the previous class? Everyone good? Mohan, are you there? Oh, this is from 54, right? I'm sorry. Let me check the 53 batch status. Suhani?
Yes, sir.
Rahim,
Yes, sir. Good morning.
all of you done with the entry questions of inventory module?
Yes.
Inventory model entry questions are completed. Please complete reading the inventory entry questions, okay? And after completion of the procurement module, I want all of you to be ready to upload your resumes. After completion of the procurement, you can upload your resumes and attend interviews and parallelly learn the order management module, okay?
With only procurement button, we can go for interview, sir.
Yeah, we can apply. You'll get some calls also.
Okay.
So now if you don't do things parallel, it will take time. If you do in a sequence fashion, nothing but first classes, after that practice, after that resume preparation, after that attending for the interviews, it will take 6 months to 1 year. So if you do everything parallelly, attending the classes and then interview preparations, practice, everything parallelly, and once 50% of the course is completed, we will upload the resume and start attending for the interviews. Just give a trial, just collect the interview question answers and try test yourself how much subject you have learned. You're testing yourself. Then you'll get job quickly. Otherwise, it will take a lot of time. Carriers, line types, common options for payables and procurement. Here, this is I reviewed, I think already. Requisitioning.
Requisition.
So this is not the explanation, sir. Basically, whatever the org that is entering here, that is defaulted to the your requisition. The org that you are entering, that is defaulted to the requisition.
Okay.
So you should write like the entered org is defaulted to the requisition. And in the requisition, you can select a or you can change it to another org also. That should be the explanation, sir. Okay. Sir, can you please explain this sentence, sir?
The requisition which we are importing, for that, we need not to create any PO.
You don't want to create any PO.
Now, directly we are importing from the requisition, right? For the, in that case, we need not to.
We need not to create a PO.
Like manual PO, we need not to create.
Okay. You can also mention PO is automatically created, right? Instead of this point, you can mention if you want, the PO is automatically created instead of creating manually. Mention like that. Okay. So sometimes, need not to create a PO, it will give you meaning in a different way. Okay. You mentioned manual, but during your explanation, suppose if the interviewer has missed this word,
Okay.
will think in a different way.
Sure.
Explanation is also important. Okay, you know the concept in your mind, but how you are putting in a sentence is also important for the interview cracking purpose. Can you please explain this?
Like the percentage which we are giving in the tolerance percentage, with that the amount which is varying, that will reflect here. Like we will give that amount here in
So
the.
can I give a straightforward answer?
Yes.
Can I give you a straightforward answer? If the
Yes.
PO price is compared with the requisition price,
Okay.
the PO price is compared with the requisition price, the PO price should be within the tolerance specified in the price change here. That is how you should explain, sir.
Okay. Sir.
The explanation should be really important.
Okay.
Team, please prepare your own interview question and answers. If this is the question, what should be your answer? If this is the question, what should be your answer? While preparing the answer itself, you are preparing it's giving a different sentence, different meaning. Please prepare answers. Okay? Okay, team, I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you.